Okay. Right. Notice of a public meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Brownsville pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice is hereby given that the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas has scheduled a regular meeting on Thursday, July 10th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. in the Commission chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Old Federal Building located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas, 78520. Pledge of Allegiance.
If you'll stand, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag, to the republic for which visible with liberty and justice for all.
Updates and comments? We do not have any updates or comments for this evening.
No comments?
No comments. Approval of the minutes for the regular meeting on June 5th, 2025.
Mike on.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a first and a second motion to approve minutes of June 5th, 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries.
Items for individual consideration. Consideration and action to grant a subdivision waiver for La Minita Subdivision Phase 2, located in the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the City of Brownsville from the municipal planning process and solely proceeding with Cameron County jurisdiction.
This subdivision is located fronting San Carlos Road, north of Highway 100, close to Los Fresnos, Texas. It is in the ETJ of the City of Brownsville. It's consists of 3 single-family lots. Staff does recommend the approval to grant the subdivision waiver.
What size are these lots? I can't read it. About 5 acres?
They're, for example, lot 3 is 7.36, lot 2 is 4.82, lot 1 is 5.01.
Okay.
Questions?
Any questions, anyone? We need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve. Seconded.
We have a first and a second motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries.
Public hearings. Public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2025-011 to rezone from residential single-family R1 to residential suburban R2 to allow a duplex development for lots 17 through 32, inclusive Block 5, Florida Estates Subdivision, Section 2, Cameron County, Texas, located at 1273 Titusville Street, Brownsville, Texas, 78521.
So this request is to upzone from residential single family to residential suburban, for the proposed use being a duplex development. The property is fronting Titusville Street. Also, it's fronting, Florida I believe it's Avenue. This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 31 mailouts and 0 written opposition. And it's Florida Road. This development may seem familiar. The commission back in, well, it was last year around February. The master plan was approved as well as the first phase of the subdivision. So this subdivision is a mixture of both single family and duplex lots. In this occasion, they will be rezoning lots 17 through 32 for duplex. So that's the area that's highlighted, or that is within the red polygon.
So the other lots are single family.
No, so as you can see here on the zoning map,
Mhm.
in the first phase of the subdivision, one of the blocks has already been rezoned. It already came through you
Okay.
to rezone to R2.
Okay.
So if you look at the picture here on your screen, you can see that it's already zoned R2.
Okay.
So they're just wanting to do, to mirror it for the new phase, for phase 2.
And then what's on the west side is R1. Is that going to be part of this subdivision or is that
Yes,
somebody
it's
else's?
going to be part of the subdivision. So as they develop, they will be coming to you for rezoning the blocks.
What is the next major street going north-south to
Yeah.
this?
Do you have a wider map?
Yeah, that's,
We do not have a wider map.
is that 511? For Indiana?
I believe it is Indiana.
Okay.
And so this request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. Staff does recommend the approval to rezone from residential single family to residential suburban. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions at this time? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address this case, if you would come forward. Close public hearing.
Make a motion to close public hearing. I'll second.
We have a first and a second motion to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Do we have questions or I'll entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as per staff recommendation. I'll second.
We have a first, second motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries.
Public hearing in action on ordinance number 235-2025-012 to rezone from traditional neighborhood to traditional neighborhood corridor to allow a fourplex for lot 20, block 3, Lincoln Park subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located at 2024 East 20th Street, Brownsville, Texas, 78521.
So this request is to upzone from traditional neighborhood to traditional neighborhood corridor for the purpose of allowing a fourplex. Basically, the change in zoning would allow them to increase the density that's permitted on the property. Right now, as is, as maximum, they would only be allowed to do up to a duplex. However, they want to see if the zoning change can be established to allow them to do a fourplex.
So traditional neighborhood, only a duplex, but traditional neighborhood corridor, they can do a fourplex.
Right, and it's all based on the size of the property because depending on the size, that will give you the determination as to what or how many units can be allowed on the property.
Are the setbacks different?
The setbacks are the same for this particular application.
Okay.
This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 24 mailouts. We did not receive any written opposition. We just want to point out that the area does predominate in single-family use. We didn't find any other properties that have a fourplex within the area. The maximum is single-family, or there's about 2 or 3 duplexes scattered throughout the subdivision. This is the zoning map. As you can see, what predominates is traditional neighborhood. There's some residential transition to the southeast and a traditional neighborhood corridor to the northwest. And so this request is not consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. Staff recommends denial to rezone from traditional neighborhood to traditional neighborhood corridor.
How large is this lot?
I believe it's 50 by 120.
Okay.
It's a standard size lot.
That's going to be a tight squeeze.
So, as per the recommendation of the department, it's based on the spot zoning because as you can see, what predominates in the area is traditional neighborhood. We wouldn't want to introduce a new zoning to an area that's already predominating or has an established zoning of traditional neighborhood, and also because of the density. Again, everything in the area is primarily single-family residential, at most duplex.
Do we have any questions? Ladies and gentlemen, it is a public meeting. Anyone that wants to address this case, if you would come forward, state your name, please, at the mic.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Tony Menchaca. I would be the developer on this project. And I just wanted to show you, I think it's important that you guys see. May I approach and show this to them? Yeah. So I'd like to point your attention briefly at page number 3 of the exhibit I gave you. This is the current condition of the property. You know, as you can see, it's very deteriorated. You know, this needs to be torn down. I also have the neighbors from the property that are tired of seeing this property next to their home. This thing right now has snakes. Ms. Garza just told me that she's found snakes, you know, rats, raccoons. And so what happened with this is little history on this property because the former owners let it go for, there were too many taxes owed. So right now there's about 68,000 of tax debt. So just to do a single family or a duplex, I think it's already it's not feasible for us to just do a duplex or a single family home. Now, you do the observation I have is that we were able to fit in a fourplex, and you can see on page number 2, because I think you had a concern about the tightness of the space. This is done according to measurements, and we're trying to see if we can provide parking in the rear and on the back because there is an alleyway there. So I ask you guys to consider this. Now, as far as spot zoning, I understand staff's concern, and it's legitimate, but the whole neighborhood is established. It's by 20th Street. So, you know, there's not very many empty lots. What I'm trying to do is hopefully demo this house and then make it look better for the neighbors. You know, they're here to testify. Ms. Garza, ¿quiere decir una palabra? Ella habla puro español, pero le dije que me acompañara. I told her sí, porque también ella, when I was out there the first time and I was looking at the property, she said, "Hey, are you going to buy this? Because we need something out here, you know, and we're tired of seeing this property the way it is." So I want her to relay that and not just have her present, you know, not speak on her without her present. And if you guys have any questions for me as to what we're proposing to do there.
So most of these are neighbors to the property that you want to purchase?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they're also, they all support what you're trying to do?
She does, and I think, if I understand, and she can speak as well, the issue with as I understand, the lady also lives across the street, and I think her issue was more about property taxes. Will my property taxes go up? To which I said, it's good that it's a fourplex, because a fourplex, we do, I don't know if you guys do property tax appeals. We do. So a fourplex is not a comparable property to a single family, which is her house. And I was trying to explain to her, you know, the appraisal district cannot use that comp to revalue your property or to make your property go up because it's not a comparable property to a single family. In essence, it'd be actually benefit her if we do a brand new home, then that would actually could be used as a comparable property against her, so the appraisal district would higher the value. So that was her concern. I don't know if she wants to speak, or maybe I addressed it already. And, but she lives directly next door to the property, and the lady in the back lives across the street. And I'll, you know.
Do you already own the property, Mr. Menchaca?
Yes, I do, and I have a current tax payment agreement with the tax office because $68,000 for a lot there, as some of you know, it's very high. So for us to make it work, and from a developer standpoint, I think the only thing that you could do a home, you could do a home and sell it, but it's not feasible for us. We prefer doing that higher density. And I had my design team come over, and also Mr. Ruben Martinez. He's a broker, and he also helps us a lot with some of this stuff. And we've got some comps, and I think the feedback is to make this thing feasible. We need to be able to do this fourplex, you know.
So a duplex is out of the question for you?
It's not out of the question. It's just we would like we want to show that staff and the commission that we could fit the four units, and we're not proposing 2-bedroom units. It's just one single bedroom units. You know, just
Yeah, because
one,
that's a very small lot.
right, 50 by 120, 6,000. I've seen some areas downtown. I live by St. Charles. I've seen some triplexes just go up recently, and lots for 50 by 120 with 6,000 square feet. Basically, there are some that I've seen on certain spots of downtown by St. Charles streets. So, in essence, in square footage of construction, it is the same as a triplex, duplex, but it's just smaller units. That's what we're trying to do. Thank you. If you have
Thank you,
no further
Mr.
questions
Menchaca.
for us.
Would anybody else like to address the board? Yes, sir. If you'll come forward, please. And if you'll state your name.
My name is Christopher Landis. I just had a simple couple of questions. Not familiar with the jargon and all this stuff.
It's fine.
I am a neighbor that lives right in front. First of all, I want to go ahead and say I don't want to get in front of anyone's forward progress or, you know, anything. Just had a couple of questions. Rather hear from y'all regarding like the property taxes, if what he said is true, if that wouldn't affect us.
Well, the city of Brownsville doesn't have any jurisdiction over that. That's Cameron County Appraisal District.
Okay.
So we really couldn't comment on that.
Okay, and as far as the only concern, it would be a concern, but if the gentleman went ahead and said he makes adequate parking,
Right.
parking I think would be an issue. If other than that, that would be my only concern, just the parking, you know, just everybody's space.
Right.
If that can go ahead and be okay. Cool. Like I said, if I got no problem with it with forward progress. There were just questions that I had.
Okay. Well, we thank you, Mr. Hernandez. I'm sorry that we can't address the tax
That's cool.
question for you.
I just had questions of where is that?
According to what Mr. Menchaca just showed us, there'll only be one parking space per unit, but there may be more if he's able to get that approved through the alley. I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Gwen Martinez. I am a broker with Real Connect Realty, broker associate, I'm sorry. And I'd just like to attest to Mr. Menchaca's comments. His company, Loma Alta Construction, I've worked with them extensively in the last 6 years. And I would like to just say that they are always trying to move forward, and not just in terms of the property owners and added value to the property owners, but also to the city. I think that a proposal like this would bring, first of all, get rid of the nuisance of that lot the way it is right now. And I think the neighbors would probably appreciate that. Being a former member of the appraisal district, I do believe that when Mr. Menchaca is correct, being a fourplex, that would not affect the property values around it because it would not be a comparable property to the house. There's a single family house around it. So I would just like to say that hopefully you will take into consideration his comments, his project. I have been working with him for 6 years, and I know that every property that is developed by his company usually is a product, besides the added value to the property owner, it does bring other plus to the city. I think the progress of the city is based on probably multifamilies. We are in a pretty big squeeze as far as property. Single-family homes are difficult to come by right now, and it's very expensive to develop one. But I think a fourplex would actually help the city as far as housing, which is a current necessity of the city right now. And that's it. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
I had a question. So you have parking on the back, is that through the alleyway? Y'all have parking on the backside too, is that through the alleyway entrance?
Yes, we're trying to use the alley, hopefully. We've done it before, during the planning, stage. And that's something that, I mean, it's preliminary right now because we still have to submit the plans to the city of Brownsville and then get their feedback. But our initial proposal is to be able to provide parking through the alleyway. If they do not allow us to do that, however, we can push the building back more and then we can provide that extra space in the front. Because I don't like my developments to have on-street parking. I don't like that. I personally don't like it. So and I think that way, and that's the way I would like to develop it. You know, and like the neighbor said, we don't want more cars there. I see how it gets cluttered in there. So we want to make sure that, you know, we provide at least 4 parking spaces, either both ways or in the front. Now, keep in mind, my units are small units. They're going to be studio style. So all we need is 1 parking space, you know, for a teacher or a single person, or I don't know, not a full family, you know.
Right, but this doesn't allow for parking for any visitors.
Correct. I hope I answered your question, Mr.
Yes, yeah.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wants to address this case? Motion to close public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
I'll second.
We have a first and second motion to close public hearing. All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Do we have additional questions, discussion?
At this time, I'd like to abstain from voting and recuse myself as I myself am the broker for the RCR Real Connect Realty.
What is the wish of the commission? Mr. Obel?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Just to clarify, approve what?
Sorry?
Just clarification, approve
The staff is,
staff's recommendation or?
No,
go
to make,
against?
the
to,
staff is recommending not to be approved.
yeah, so that would be against the staff recommendation. I'm making a motion to approve the rezoning.
To go against staff recommendation?
Mm-hmm.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have enough to pass? Yes. Okay. Motion carries.
Yep.
I was a no. Okay,
Can we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
we have a first motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 5:54. Thank you. How are you? I haven't seen you.
Thank you.